First X-class solar flare of solar cycle 25 just peaked on July 3rd, 2021. It peaked at 14:29 UTC. This solar flare, due to the location of the sunspot region, is unlikely to be Earth-directed. July 3rd X-class solar flare is the first X-class solar flare of solar cycle 25 and the first X-class solar flare since the massive X8.2 solar flare that took place on 9th of October 2017. Yes, it has been indeed almost 4 years since we last breached the X-class threshold. Though our sun is one day early with her fireworks display, we celebrate Independence Day with our American friends today on 4th of July. What are X-class solar flares? Solar flares are giant explosions on the sun that send energy, light and high-speed particles into space. These flares are often associated with solar magnetic storms known as coronal mass ejections, CMEs. Solar cycle 25 is the current solar cycle pattern of sunspot activity. It began in December 2019. It is expected to continue until about 2030, with sun activity slowly building up, peaking around 2024 or 2025 and then slowly declining. The number of solar flares increases approximately every 11 years, and the sun is currently moving towards another solar maximum. That means more flares will be coming, more small and some big enough to send their radiation all the way to Earth. What it means? More conscious levels increasing for Earth residents. Bringing more information, cosmic information. The biggest flares are known as X-class flares based on a classification system that divides solar flares according to their strengths. The smallest ones are A-class, followed by B, C, M, and X. Similar to the Richter scale for earthquakes, each letter represents a tenfold increase in energy output. So an X is 10 times an M and 100 times a C, meaning an X-class solar flare is 10 times stronger than M-class. Within each letter class, there is another finer scale going up from 1 to 9 and then onwards. C-class and smaller flares are too weak to noticeably affect Earth. M-class flares can cause brief radio blackouts at the poles and minor radiation storms that might endanger astronauts. And then come the X-class flares. Although X is the last letter, there are flares more than 10 times the power of an X1, so X-class flares can go higher than 9. The most powerful flare measured with modern methods was in 2003 during the last solar maximum, and it was so powerful that it overloaded the sensors measuring it. The sensors cut out at X28. If solar flares are directed at Earth, such flares and associated CMEs can create long-lasting radiation storms that can harm satellites, communication systems, and even ground-based technology and power grids. Xclass flares on December 5 and December 6, 2006, for example, triggered a CME that interfered with GPS signals being sent out to ground-based receivers. Weather agencies all over the world keep a constant watch on the sun to monitor for X-class flares and their associated magnetic storms. With advance warnings, many satellites and spacecraft can be protected from the worst effects. Solar flares are known to affect humans' physiology in various physical, mental, and spiritual ways, but overall lifting consciousness levels and lifting awareness, aiding ascension. Thanks for listening. Love and light.